beginning, stock cars outran the police to deliver the hooch to our ancestors. So sweet. Are you ready for a trip down victory lane, where Richard Petty's winnings were insane and Dale Earnhardt put everyone to shame? Canadian Junior Handley is in the Hall of Fame. Live from Haldeman County, it's time for the Driver in Deep podcast. Are you ready?
Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us for another episode of Driver in Deep, brought to you by wingnutsports.com. My name is Mark and I'm here again with Alex, and we have a couple of guests on the show today. Brad Hulton from drivercal.com and your nephew Alex, and someone who flies the Driver in Deep colors, Carson Nagy.
Yes, sir. Two interesting guests, but I got to ask first, how's your week been?
It almost sounds like you're trying to lead me into something here, but let me start. It was a good week so far, as you know, and I know you're real excited about this too. Discmania just came out with their brand new manufactured P2 putters yesterday.
People are going to ask, what's a Discmania?
Well, if they listen to the podcast, they know it has something to do about disc golf. And apparently this putter is, I don't know if it has some type of targeting for the basket or what, but, there's a huge demand for those. So we had to go out and get them on day one. And I guess we're going to find out if it improves our game or not.
So how many putters do you have now? I think I said to somebody earlier this week, you have 22 of them now. And just so people know, you can only throw one.
Well, I'm glad that you count, but you do need several if you're going to practice. And obviously, you haven't been doing that.
I'll start to practice when you can match my putting.
Oh, really? Is that sounds like some kind of challenge?
It is.
Really?
It is. Listen, earlier this week, I saw you posted the infamous picture of the pole t-shirt that you and your buddy Colin won. And it's all over social media about, your big racing debut. Mm-hmm. How did I see all the kids in the background there at the, whatever it is, Mario Kart?
Competitors. I prefer the word competitors.
Yeah. So, it looked like a really big moment for you.
Well, I have to say, it was my first kart race that I entered. And obviously, I was successful, finishing P1, as you know. People, if they want to go to our Wingnut Sports page on Facebook, they'll see the post there. Several people liked it, I have to say. And,
yeah.
it definitely was a fun time. And, I felt bad for Colin because, as much as he tried, he couldn't really, he didn't come close to passing me. So.
Yeah, I was talking to him. He said he had a really shitty cart. He said that you bought the pole cart. He said the only cart left for him was $20 or $30 cheaper, but it was like the fourth place cart. And he said he brought it to a second place finish. So
there's definitely some misinformation going on here. He had the cart right behind me, and we had no idea which one was faster or not. As it turns out, I think they were all pretty close. It had to do with the skill of the driver more than the speed of the cart. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that's your week?
Well, no, actually, that wasn't my week. You also saw the picture of Zach that I posted on our Facebook page. He's in the mini Indy now. He's loving it, having a great time. Another youngster that is really enjoying motorsports racing, and good for them. Looks like a great little program they have there at Cameron's, and Zach certainly loves it, and he's as you could see from the picture online, he's also a big fan of Driver in Deep. So, way to go, Zach! Keep it going, buddy. And you never know, maybe there'll be some big things in the future for you in racing.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people go through there. They do a nice job, adults and kids. So it's great that people can live their motorsport dream there. And maybe you and Colin should think about stopping by there, because I think their karts go more than 2 miles per hour.
Well, I'm sure they do go more than 2 miles per hour. And you know what? Maybe we will. We'll have to see that. You might hear a little more about that in the future. But anyway, what about you, Nags? How was your week?
Busy, actually. I attended, with Jukasa season being canceled, it's freed me up a little bit to get around, see some races at some other tracks in the province, and follow, go to where my nephew's racing if I can and see a bit of that as well, help where I can. But this past weekend, I went to Sunset Speedway for their Fall Velocity, their season finale. There was, I think, Brian Toddish said it, about 210 cars on the site. So it was quite the weekend. They had a ton of good racing. The place was packed, and it's so good to see the fans enjoying themselves. And, then busy around the racetrack, fighting the rain and trying to keep things going here, of course. And then this weekend, Sandy and I are going to hit up Delaware Speedway for the Pinty's Fall Brawl. It's a huge 3-day weekend with 3 Pinty's Series races, actually. APC Championship, Quick Super Stock Championship, which Carson will be racing in, so we can talk to him about that a bit later, see how that's all gone. But that's been good. No complaints.
I have to say that seems a little bittersweet for me because, that used to happen at Jacasa.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's really, I'm happy that event with Tony Spiteri from Pinty's carried on this year at Delaware Speedway, our friends out there. But yeah, definitely sad that we're not having at Jacasa since we actually started that event and brought, in my opinion, the NASCAR Pinty Series finale to the level that it needed to be. It hasn't been there for a few years, but since 2017, I think we give it the love it needed. And I'm sure our friends at Delaware will do the same this week.
Yeah. Speaking of Delaware, Alex, and I haven't prepped you for this or not, but do you have any special memories from your racing career from Delaware, like one in particular that you can share with our listeners?
I do. I was fortunate to race there quite a bit. That was the home of CASCAR. Tony Novotny had that racetrack plus the CASCAR series. So when I moved from weekly racing to CASCAR, I think that there was at least 2 big events there a year. One was the McCurley Millen Classic, which has a huge history of winners from Junior Hanley, Pete Gibbons. I mean, the list is so long. And I was fortunate enough to win that 1 year, and got my name. There's a sign at the racetrack there that lists all the past winners, and now it's called the Great Canadian Race, which actually will be decided this weekend with the APC race. That race, listen, you have to be lucky sometimes, and Sean Dupy from Windsor, and I can't remember who else, were battling first and second. I was right behind them, and they got together, and I passed them with a few laps to go and ended up winning that race. So that was a special moment for me at Delaware. And that made me think about this last week. After we recorded our last podcast, a guy I looked up to a ton from Windsor, Jack Monahan, Speedy Jack Monahan, in the 03. He raced all kinds of stuff all over Canada, Ohio, Michigan, and hell of a racer. And I was fortunate. He ended his career racing some CASCAR stuff, a lot of CASCAR stuff. And I got a chance to race with him, and I learned so much from him. And I know he inspired so many young racers in the Windsor area, from the Mornos to Dupuis to Duke Sawchuk and Ronnie Beauchamp and all those guys that I got to race with. I know Jack had played a big role in their start to racing for sure. He was a local hero from the Windsor area. So anyways, we lost him. Pretty sad. It's an icon in our sport for sure. But I just wanted to mention that, racing with Jack and Earl Ross and those greats were a highlight for me. I got to race with them at the end of their career.
Yeah. No, obviously I wish I had been able to see some of them, but now it's not just black and white TV that they're broadcast on. So anything that's, any of the races these days, we're going to be able to see online on the internet. Unfortunately, that part of your career, all kidding aside, there's probably not as good a collection of that you can still go back and watch.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do we got today?
Well, like you said earlier, we've talked, me and you have talked about Driver Call. They've been a episode sponsor for the past few episodes. We talked a little bit about what Driver Call is about. Mm-hmm. It's a motorsports calendar, if you will, but we never really explained it in detail. And to be honest, it's a new company, a new project that Brad Hulton and his partner have been working on. So it's a great chance to have Brad come on today and tell the fans and if any racetracks are listening, because it's for everybody, tell them what they got going on. So we'll learn a lot about Driver Cal today. And also, we get Carson on. He's a driver that we sponsor in the off season in iRacing, and thought we'd get him on just to get a season summary so far. He's just recently won the Flamboro Speedway Track Championship. So, yeah, interesting episode.
Yeah, and again, another one of these youngsters that's having success. So I think that's great. I'm looking forward to talking to him as well.
Absolutely. But before we get started, Mark, and I would like to invite our listeners to join us online on our Facebook page. Just search for Wingnut Sports and like our page, and you'll get all the recent updates.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that you want to check us out on Instagram and also on Twitter at wingnutsports.com.
And if all else fails, visit our website at wingnutsports.com, and you'll find all of our episodes. And check out the check out the show notes. I know you always mention this, but I know you put a lot of effort into the show notes, and there's a lot of info in there. So please check out the show notes, and it gets links to our guests' social media channels, etc., and other media contact information.
Yeah, that's where it is. And we're also going to do a better job of asking our guests for their social media information, which we will do today. So why don't we begin? Our latest episode sponsor is drivercal.com. And like you mentioned, Alex, we've talked a little bit about what Brad and his partner have started, but we really haven't explained it in great detail. And so today we've asked Brad Hulton to come on Driver in Deep and tell us a little bit more about drivercal.com and what they're all about. Welcome, Brad, and thanks for joining us on Driver in Deep today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the support and just being here in general.
Cool. Yeah, thanks again also, Brad, for joining us. I have to ask you, buddy, you were listening to our podcast, and I got a note from you, or maybe it was on Facebook or something.
Yeah, you posted it.
Yeah, you posted you had some disc golf discs in your possession, and I think it was like something paraphrasing, but you bastard or something like that. Because you caught the bug a little bit, so I have to ask you, just out of curiosity, man, how's your disc golf game going? And you made some fun about this, and so did I. And I also have to ask if you've suffered any forearm injuries while in your hotel room anywhere.
Well, because of the pandemic, I've been staying out of the hotel rooms, and maybe there were a few forearm injuries in my past, but not disc golf related, unfortunately.
I'm not so sure that Mark's was either, but hey,
everybody's got their story, right? So, no, I have a bit of a trait that I get a little bit obsessive about things at times. And the more you guys spoke about disc golf, the more I wanted to try it. I did get into golfing years ago, and really enjoyed it, but ended up suffering a shoulder injury that summer and have never been able to play again. So when this kind of opportunity arose, I thought, I'll give that a go. And I went out a couple of times I went out with friends first, and then I went out with my kids. And yeah, I'm hooked now. I really enjoy it. I mean, I haven't been out much. We don't have a lot available out my way, but I plan on getting out a lot more, and especially coming down to see you guys. I know you guys have just about every option available to you out there, so I'm definitely planning a trip out there to play. It'd be tons of fun.
Yeah, we definitely need to hook that up and get you down here. There's been so many people that we've introduced the game to, and they all, most of them really have had the same thoughts about it. And honestly, for me, I wish I had have learned a little bit more about the sport at least a decade ago, because it's going to be pretty hard at this. You get to a certain point in life and you're not going to be able to perform like you would have when you're a little bit younger, but it's definitely a lot of fun. And I do want to say, Alex, I know what you're inferring about whether it was an injury from disc golf or not, but I just want to tell you that there is no more pay-per-view in hotel rooms. So,
well, maybe there wasn't pay-per-view, but Mark, you were away for 2 weeks from your wife. You're, married less than a year, and you come home and you tell us that you hurt your forearm.
I did.
Pretending you're throwing a disc in your hotel room.
Yeah.
But everybody can figure it out.
Yeah. Did you at least use incognito mode on your Chrome browser there?
Well, see, you even know why you would use that. So I'm just saying. No, but no, honestly, disc golf it's been great for us, and especially during the pandemic, place to get out, and it only takes an hour and a half, maximum 2 hours to play around, even at La Fortune up here. And Alex, I didn't mention this to you, but they have a league starting in a few weeks. Or did I mention it to you? There's a fall doubles league coming up.
Is that what you want? Like me and you?
Yeah. Well, whoever wants to join, you don't play with the people you join with. It's somebody different every week, and it's like a best disc league. So where that means you'll get a shot to maybe get some birdies out there.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure our listeners don't want to hear any more about disc golf, so. Why don't we start talking a little bit more about what Brad has to offer here with drivercal.com?
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I think, I could talk disc golf forever, unfortunately, but we're here for a reason, so might as well move on.
Yeah. Well, okay. Anyway, so why don't you tell everyone what DriverCal is and where you plan on going with this project?
Okay, so the marketing wank side of it is, DriverCal is, it's something we built to connect the car community to their next great motorsport adventure. And what it really truly is, we were sick and tired of seeing pictures of awesome events that happened a day or two before on Facebook or whatever. And we would see these things, we'd see these events happening. We had no idea that they were even an option. We had no idea who was hosting them. We'd never heard of these groups before. So we were just tired of missing out on opportunities, based on, not following the right people on social media. And so we developed a web platform, basically a web calendar that all of these events can be listed on by anybody, and get the information out there. So it's just a one-stop shop for all of your automotive event needs. And I say needs because, we're all car people. We need to get out. We need these social experiences. And it's just makes it a lot easier, once people start using the platform to find options as opposed to having to search for things on Facebook and, different, Instagram or websites or whatever. It just puts it all in one spot, one simple click. And the way it's developed is you should be able to find something within just a couple of clicks. You should be able to find exactly what you want to do.
Yeah. So if, me looking at your site, Brad, hopefully people go to drivercal.com and browse around and feel it out for themselves. But you have different headings there. You have, I think, stock car, drag racing, motorcycles, and all that stuff. So it's easy to find the type of event that you want to find. And I've noticed that some places, facilities have the ability, or whoever puts it on there has the ability to put direct links to their website, to their ticketing platform, all that stuff. So, it will still drive traffic to the facility's website potentially, but they can buy tickets basically with a click of the button.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's available.
Yeah, exactly. Our mindset with DriverCal, we're in it for ourselves, and realistically, I've sort of figured it out this weekend. This past weekend, we had our first couple of events, and I finally figured out why we did this, the real reason. And, I had some experience working in the automotive industry before, and I did a lot of events. And I love motorsports. I love events. I'm kind of more of an autocross guy myself, and do lapping days and such. But what I really, really enjoy is working at events. I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. Especially, and in motorsports, just everybody's so amazing. You can have, CEOs of big brands, marketing managers there. And then, you have people who are just, hanging out, drinking some beers, watching some cars. It's literally, there's families with young kids there. It's literally everyone. And so I love the experience of being there. And so the overall model of DriverCal has turned into this growth model. We want the entire sport to succeed. We want the entire sport to grow. And in doing so, that will allow me to stay under the tent at events and talk to people for hopefully the rest of my life. So, it's not, as it sounds like such a great thing, and I want to do such great things for other people in a sport I love. It really is kind of just for me and keeping me out there talking to people. So, yeah. And so with that said, we don't want to take business from other people's websites. We don't want to take business from the track's websites and stuff like that. We want to funnel that information to the track's websites and almost directly to, or as close to, the correct information as possible, so people don't have to dig for it. I don't want to say everybody is lazy, but we built this website with myself in mind and my business partner Michael. We are lazy. We are lazy people, and if we can't find what we're looking for in a couple of clicks, we'll look elsewhere. If you try and Google something, it's not in the first couple of hits. Well, it's very rare that people scroll to the next page. I don't even know if people understand that there's more than one page of Google. So we really want it to be simple. So you go on our site, you kind of pick your area, or it picks up your area. You tell it, you want to look at short track racing. So it brings up short track racing. When you find the event that you want to go to, like Delaware this weekend, you click that and it should bring you, it brings you the information, and then there should be a link there direct to ticket sales or direct to schedules.
And then there's another component to it that I know that you're working on, but you mentioned Delaware. So I'm pretty sure you're going to Delaware this weekend and having a display. So if anybody's listening and they want to learn a lot more about it, and they have 20 to 30 to 40 or 50 minutes to talk, because if they get suckered in by you, they may never get away. Yeah. But they can learn a lot more and visit you this weekend at Delaware Speedway. So anybody listening, look for Brad at Delaware this weekend if you happen to be there. But the other component I was talking about, you've talked to me about, is that you're selling T-shirts and proceeds from that, plus some other things you're working on. And I know that there's going to be some more layers to it, but ultimately you're looking to give back or do some sponsorship stuff to teams that need the help. How is that going to work? Yeah.
So, when we developed DriverCal and when we looked at the overall growth model, we were really focusing on, getting people out to events, getting people out to races and tracks. And in doing so, I don't want to say at the time we really forgot the drivers, but I was speaking with somebody about, there's this chicken and the egg kind of situation, that happens with motorsports in general. And it's like, if you don't have people on track or people showing cars at events or whatever, you typically don't tend to have the crowds. And so, but also if you don't have crowds, people don't find the experiences exciting. So you might not get the drivers that you need. It really just needs to be a general really good show overall. And so, we work really hard to make sure we can get people to the tracks. But we needed to come up with a way that we can ensure drivers are getting on track as well. And so what we've done is we've developed this I Support Motorsports program. And so we're selling T-shirts that say I Support Motorsports on the front. And then, basically every dime that we make from those shirts, this is a branding opportunity for us, as a whole branding program for us. But it also fits in with the growth model. So we take all of that money that we make, we put it into our marketing budget, and the marketing budget from the shirts, every penny that comes from the shirts goes directly into sponsorships of grassroots drivers and events. So everything that comes in goes right back out into the sport, much of which, or just like a lot of the other stuff that we do. But the reason we picked the I Support Motorsports for the front was to give people a bit of buy-in into the program, right? Because realistically, we're the funnel. That's it. We, in all of the aspects we do, we are funneling people and money towards motorsports. And so in this case, if you were to buy a shirt, you just took your $10.40 for this run and you put it on track. sure, we're the funnel, right? But you're the one that dipped it in the top and it's coming out in a focused area. So, we really are just trying to grow all aspects, and we feel like this is a really great program that we can, get some up and comers some cash in pocket, and do some nice things for some people that are deserving and really could use the help at times. So
yeah, for sure. It seems like it's going to be a win-win-win for everybody with this business model. So I certainly hope that you have success with this, Brad. And I want to also add that your path has been different than most of the guests that we've had on our show so far, but that really doesn't matter. The most important thing is to have people in our sport. And I say our, like I'm part of it. And I really am, because, my short time of being a motorsports fan here, I've really grown to enjoy the sport, and, having sort of the inside view by being able to meet all these people through the podcast has really been a great learning experience for me. And to have people like yourself that have this passion to make the sport bigger and better is really great. So, first of all, I wanted to, I've obviously looked at your website in detail. We're doing ads on your website as well. And I have to say, when, in speaking about trying to put everything in one place, there's literally so many divisions in motorsports that you would have to have probably dozens of website links to be able to go and see where everything is. And for somebody fairly new like myself, I don't even know what all those websites are. But by going to drivercal.com now, I don't have to, because I can just scroll through your website based in, by date, or filter it however you want. And I now can see everything that's happening in one place in the same format. So it, not even a matter of being lazy for some people. It's a matter of knowing where to go. And I think this is a great idea. And I do definitely wish you the best of success with this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's funny because, I did not come from, as you mentioned, we all have different paths. But I didn't come from, a short track background. In fact, please nobody hate me for this, but, I was always of the opinion, that, cars should turn two ways. So yeah, no, I was never a short track fan. I never really was into NASCAR at all, even as a kid or anything. But I was kind of an import fan, and I liked Honda Civics with loud exhausts. And, so I think when I was probably about 21 or something, I ended up meeting a guy who had basically invited me out to an autocross. And, pretty much from then on, I was just hooked on some sort of racing. I loved autocross, loved doing that stuff. But I never really was into anything else. So even to this day, and Mark, I'm like you, and I think I've told Alex this in the past. One of the reasons I love the podcast so much is because you have somebody who is, deep into it and knows everything, and then somebody who's kind of new and is learning. I'm still sort of learning, and so I don't know what a lot of the abbreviations are for these series, and I don't know the rules. I don't know the different cars and tracks and whatever else. And so when I'm interested in going to something, I live in Kingston, so I'm around Brockville, I'm around Brighton. I know their websites, I can check those out. But, if somebody said, XYZ is racing at Brighton next week, I would have no idea. So again, in developing Driver Cal, we really just wanted a place to make that information, or the information about events, just really easy to find, as opposed to having to follow, again, like you said, have 100 different links on your computer, or just follow 1,000 different series on your page to find information. So
yeah, and you learned a lot more about the sport. We met with you working at Inside Track Motorsports News, friends of ours, and they were kind enough to do a little piece on our podcast, and our friends over at Stickers and Scuffs. So we appreciate them. And I know that, like I said, that's where we met. I think we spent a night in Indianapolis one time at a trade show that you may or may not remember. But, at Inside Track, you definitely met a lot of people in the industry, and they cover all forms of motorsports. So I'm sure that was a lot of help too, moving forward for you.
Yeah, definitely eye-opening. Spent a lot of time at events, and that's kind of where I found my love of events, motorsport events, I guess. It's a funny thing, really. I don't think I'll ever lose my passion for autocross or anything like that. But kind of the second I started working within a motorsports industry is literally the second I stopped doing it for myself. So,
well, listen, at least
it's never too late.
Cars. Yeah, Mark's claim to fame, as you saw last week, was it got introduced at Super Mario Kart World.
That
or something.
wasn't. It was not what it's called. Niagara Speedway, I believe, is the correct name.
I'm pretty good on the Wii as well, Mark. Like we should have a race sometime. I'm sure we can do a digital or separate. So.
So if I submit my next kart race to drivercal.com, will we be able to see it there so people can then come and participate or at least just come and enjoy the action?
You know what? If you upload the event, I will look at approving it. I'll double check first. I have to do a few things just to confirm.
It has to meet a certain criteria.
Just mostly it's the criteria that it won't disappoint. So I don't know.
Well, the entertainment value will be there. I can guarantee you that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely worth the ticket price, anyways.
For sure. And listen, Brad, got to thank you for coming on. And
yep.
I'm not sure we have done you justice on their podcast as far as what Driver Cal's totally about. And I know it's evolving every day and it's the end of the season, but I think it's been a great start for you guys. And I think you have, all kinds of opportunity to grow and run with this thing all winter. So thanks for coming on and explaining it to us.
No, and I think we're positioned in a pretty good way. I keep kicking my butt to not have started working on this sooner, but I think we're right actually at the right time. I think moving forward, going into this winter season here in Ontario, the snow season, it's the right time to really get out there and get talking to these track owners and promoters and people who host shows and meets and stuff. I think that's the perfect time when they're all a little less frazzled and ready to go. And, as we mentioned before, we've got the shirt program. Currently the shirts are only available at events because, again, our goal is to promote events where we were trying to get more butts in seats, trying to bring new people into the sport, trying to, again, we have this long-term growth, outline. But so for now, the shirts are only available online. At events, but moving forward after our final event this season, which will be the Brockville Fall Nationals. That'll be our last one. After that, we'll put them online so that motorsports fans can start buying them for their friends and family and kids and stuff for Christmas presents, which should go well. But yeah, like I said, that's going to be a move in the future that I think that'll do well over the winter, even when we're not able to be out at events. And so, we'll be out this weekend at Delaware for sure. Be there Friday through Sunday. We're doing the whole thing. We've got the shirts, all of our partners, which I'll mention really quickly because I honestly couldn't do this without them. And I will also say that, when it comes to the shirts themselves, we put all of our profit from those shirts into the sponsorship fund. And it's only profits from production. It's not profits from, after we take out expenses to be at events. So it's not like we're paying booth costs or travel or anything like that. And the way we're able to do that is our partners have kicked in, basically to cover our expenses to make it possible for us to get out there. And every one of them have been amazingly supportive and, everybody's kind of come on board the second they've heard the program. So, we're working with Race Monitor on this. They're a huge help for this. We're also doing some stuff on the website with them, which is going to basically give us events across North America almost overnight. We'll be able to pull that off. Nightworks Design is in on this. Surf and Turf, they're the ones that keep the rain off I should say keep my head from being sunburned. Inside Track Motorsport News, big help. They're going to help us with some promotions and media stuff. 613 Wraps, my good buddy Mark, he provides all our stickers, which if anybody wants stickers, come see us, because we've got a lot, and we're giving them out free. And then also mobile ones on board for this first run. So we'll be doing another run here in the winter, moving into next season. So if anybody feels like this is something that they can get behind, feel free to reach out and we can talk about new partners for next year. I think this is a really great program, and it could allow some other companies that may not necessarily have the ability to really support a lot of smaller people in meaningful ways, but this could allow some larger companies to really help out, the grassroots, where motorsports starts. And I think that's important that we look at, starting at the bottom and pushing it up, so that, again, I can stand under this tent for the rest of my life.
Awesome.
Yeah, Alex mentioned before that we probably didn't do a great job ourselves of explaining drivercal.com. So, we're going to ask our listeners, please go visit drivercal.com and check it out for yourself. And before we let you go, Brad, can you give us maybe some of your social media information so that our listeners can get in touch with you online?
Yeah, we've kept it pretty basic. We've got Facebook and Instagram. I'm old and I don't understand TikTok yet, so we'll have to work on some of that stuff. But the Facebook is just DriverCal, just as it sounds, and our Instagram is driver_Cal. Somebody had DriverCal. He's a driver and his name's Cal. Sorry. So yeah, driver_Cal. Hit us up on social. And if anybody has any questions, comments, suggestions, I am always all ears. I am not an unapproachable person. I will, this thing is a long-term growth plan. And, almost everybody I meet, we know what they say about opinions. Everyone I meet has one. But they're all valuable. I find them all valuable. And a lot of the time, my opinions line up with people's opinions, and the ideas that we have are similar. But every once in a while I hear something different. And the only way that we can better help move events forward and grow these events is by understanding what works for people and what doesn't. If we don't know, if a track owner or an event promoter or something, thinks that what we're doing does not work for them, tell me, because if I can make it work for you, that means it'll help others as well. It's just, like they say in class, if you have a question, ask it, because somebody else is guaranteed to have the same question. So if somebody does not, if anybody has an opinion or thoughts or wants to chat, reach out. There's a contact us form on the website. I'd give you my email, but I feel like I'd get something weird from Mark later if I did that. So
probably pretty good chance. That. I think you've already got a few.
Yeah,
we've shared a few emails. Let's just say that.
Yeah, a few.
Well, that's great.
Right,
Listen, yeah, thanks a lot for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. On behalf of Alex, I know that we both wish you the best of luck, and we want to do whatever we can to help you as well. And hopefully, I'll run into you at Delaware this weekend.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate what you guys have done for us already. What I'm sure you'll do for me in the future, even if I, say, okay, guys, that's enough. I've got enough work. But I'm sure you guys will keep pushing for us. I thank you for getting me into disc golf, as crazy as that sounds. And, I'm super looking forward to moving forward on this and getting to know the community a little bit better and really try and help things move along. Actually,
the only reason we brought you on was just to verify that we got somebody involved in disc golf, and it's actually cool. Because we tell everybody, but nobody knows. But we finally got proof. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Call doesn't even matter.
No, exactly. Oh, and it's become such a thing too. My business partner and I have even thought I wonder if we can get branded discs.
You can. That's another episode.
You can.
No, that's an email to Mark. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, you'll have to be a guest on our new Chain Bangers podcast that's coming out very soon. So There's
another. I can't remember if I sent the message to Alex alone or whatever. Oh no, I think it was in an email, and I said something to the point or to the effect of like, "Thanks a lot. I've already got enough stuff to listen to. Now you're going to put this out. I can't not listen to it."
There might even be video.
Oh God, I'm screwed.
All right, buddy. Thanks again for coming on.
Have a good one, Brad.
We look forward to following along.
Yeah, thanks a ton, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye for now.
The guys at Driver Kill have a cool thing started, I think, Mark. I hope people get behind it.
Yeah, me too, for sure. And Brad's a great guy. So everybody, I hope you all go to drivercal.com and check them out and support them. Anyway, our next guest is your nephew, but he also has a driver in deep on his iRacing cars during the off season, and he's had a nice season in super stock racing around Ontario.
Yeah, he really has. And he was even nice enough to have our logo on his fire suit this season. So let's bring Carson in and let him talk about his season. How you doing, Carson?
Good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, but Alex is a little depressed today because it's raining, so he can't go in disc golf.
Yeah, kind of sucks, but hey, there'll be other days. I think it's going to rain for about 4 days straight, so it'll have to be sometime, probably next week.
Yeah. Hey, Carson, I hear your brothers had you out in the backyard trying to teach you a little bit to see if you like it.
Yeah, he had some friends over. They were just kind of throwing it around in the backyard, and he told me to come over and try it. I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun.
Oh, that's great. So you actually have a disc golf basket to practice on.
Yeah, that's what I was using.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Alex, there you go. And now it's up to them to show the future generation. We've done our job.
Exactly.
Anyway, Carson, thanks for joining us. As you know, I'm here with Alex, and we wanted to give you a call and see how your season's gone so far. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, and also congratulate you on your championship. So why don't you tell us how that came about this year for you?
Yes, thank you. Honestly, coming into the season, we weren't too sure what we were going to do or what we were going to race, especially with it kind of being another COVID year, but we kind of took into consideration the cost of everything in the Pro Late model, and we decided it would be a better option to kind of backtrack a bit and run a super stock for the season. So with everyone at Mike McCall Racing Enterprises over there, they built us an amazing race car for the season and just got it ready a week before the first Quick Wick Series race at Delaware. So it was just a tight outcome there. We started out pretty rough. First race out, we had a DNF, and then came to the Flamboro regular season, and we started off with a win. Started out really good. Then a few weeks down the road, we just started having more issues, and we came back to the Quick Wick Series event at Peterborough Speedway. And with all that rain going on, we weren't too sure how it was going to go for us, but we picked up another win, and that kind of brought us some more momentum going into the last half of the season. And, we just kind of kept that momentum up going through Flamboro's schedule, and we were able to pick up a few more wins. And then a little bit later, we went to Sunset for the second last Quick Wick Series event, and we had another DNF, unfortunately. But we were able to keep our heads high and keep digging, and we were able to pick up a couple more wins at Flamboro and ended up with a championship. So it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it must feel pretty good to finally get a track championship. I know they're hard to come by, and selfishly, for me personally, I think it's really cool to have another Nagy as a Flamboro Speedway champ.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never really ran for home track points before at all, and being able to get one first time doing a full season at one track feels really good, and feels really good to get one at Flamboro Speedway especially.
Yeah, I know you and Justin Collison had a heck of a battle there, and I think it come right down to the last race. So it was, there's been a bunch of great championships around this year and, around our area in Ontario. And hopefully over the next month or so, we'll get a few more champions on, but we just wanted to congratulate you on yours for sure.
Yes, thank you.
Carson, I know you can't do this without the help from people and sponsors. So who do you have to thank for your success this year so far, or maybe your career to this point?
I have to thank Queenston Chevrolet, Ohsweken Speedway Race Source, McCall Racing Enterprises, Pure Energy Performance, Limitless Design, and just so many people that's helped me out throughout my career, like getting started with Ken Spira in the mini stock division, and really thankful for Kenny Hill helping us out when he was here with us, and he kind of kickstarted me and my brother's career in a super stock and a pro late model, so I can't thank him enough.
I think you forgot two pretty important people, buddy.
Yes, and of course my mom and dad, they've done so much for me and my brother. They've sacrificed so much, and I'm not too sure how we're still doing it.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's funny because you can't see me and Mark. We're on video, and Mark's pointing at us. What about us two? I mean,
yeah, Driver Indeed sponsoring your iRacing career now, right?
Right.
So, buddy, you're heading to Delaware Speedway this weekend for the final Quick Super Stock Series event. It's been a heck of a series, and I think that the front two are separated by 6 points, I believe, with Trevor Culver from the races at Delaware and Lane Zarda, who races at Sunset. Top 10 or 12's tight as well, but I think it's been a really fun series. I've been able to see a bunch of them, and what do you expect for this weekend?
I think another phenomenal race coming this weekend. We've had 4 really, really good races, some green to checkered, some really clean, just hard-fought battles, and I believe it's going to be another hard race again.
Yeah, Delaware should really be a heck of a show. What do you have left after Delaware, Carson?
So after the final quick race at Delaware, the Flamboro Speedway, and then once we finish up there, we plan to head back to Peterborough for the Autumn Colors Classic.
Yeah, 3 nice events to finish the season off, that's for sure. And also, we make fun, we joked about your iRacing stuff, but really iRacing has really, during the pandemic, all over the world, iRacing and, online racing, whatever format that you use, but iRacing being the most popular has really taken off. And I feel strong for us in Canada. I think I mentioned this to Mark earlier, but for us in Canada, I think that, all joking aside, for us here in Canada to have eyes on our sport for 52 weeks of the year is really important and a great way to keep our sport growing rather than, going dormant for the wintertime. So I think iRacing has done a bunch for the sport, especially in markets like us that don't have any racing during the off season. So I think that, I think it's really important. And, we're happy to help you out last off season, and I'm sure we'll talk about the new contract, but looks like we'll do that again. So is that your plan to do that again this off season?
Yeah. iRacing's been a huge tool for me coming to real life racing, just visually. I plan on doing it throughout the whole winter. I try to keep up on it throughout the whole summer, even just to practice stuff and learn different things visually, right? So, yeah, I really do plan on keeping that up during this off season.
Carson, that just, makes me think a little bit here. I know that you have a lot of your friends that race as well that have been extremely successful, that are around your age. Do you think that, or can you give us an idea of how many racers now, and at least in your age category, are involved in iRacing?
Oh, there's tons. Like, just with people I hang out with and race with on a daily, like there's probably at least like 10 of us, 15 of us racing every night, and they're all out there and on every night like we are. So it's really cool having the young age group on there and connecting with each other virtually.
Yeah, and like Alex said, that gives you something to do during the off season that keeps your mind thinking about racing and, improvements in iRacing and so on, and how that can translate onto the track. Do you really feel that has a big impact on your actual racing on the track?
See, iRacing, obviously, it's a simulator or a game, whatever you want to call it, but it's the same aspect as real racing. So visually, it's identical. Like certain moves you make on the track during your race, it's definitely helped me pick up in different areas I was struggling in. So it's a really good tool to use.
Alex, just out of curiosity, what did you do in the off season? Back in the day, there was no iRacing back then.
No, there wasn't. So for me, we try to put some deals together and go down to Florida and race, or Georgia, Tennessee, wherever we could, and do some real racing. Of course, that was a lot more money and not easy to do. So, yeah, it would have been great to have this as a tool. Like Carr says, it's a great tool. And, just thinking off the top of my head, guys like Trayton Lapsevich and Kyle Steckley and Carson and all kinds of young guys around our area that all race together on that stuff. And, all those guys are doing well in the real cars. So there's definitely a correlation there. It doesn't hurt. And I think it's really cool. And I know for a fact, we talked about that 52 weeks of the year thing. Carson had Queenston Chev in his car this winter as well, this past winter. And I know that his reps at Queenston Chev appreciated that. So, yeah, I just think it's really good. And for all the kids but young guys that Cars hangs around with, we sat in and listened to some of his races, and his spotter and some different people were talking about Driver and Deep. So it's great for us too, because we want, the Cole Quintons and Lapsevich and Steckleys, and I know I'm missing a million names, but everybody knows who they are. But for them to listen to our podcast and get some of those folks on as a guest is really good. I think it's a great tie-in.
Yeah, and you might have missed another Nagy there that's still fairly young.
Yeah, well, Hudson, he doesn't do a ton of iRacing stuff, does he, Carson?
No, sometimes I make him get on my rig, and he kind of does a few races, but he's not on it too often.
Yeah. Hey, Cars, why don't you share, just before we let you go here, why don't you share your social media information so that we can connect you maybe with some more of our listeners?
Yeah, so on Instagram, you can find me at carsonnagy.93. On Facebook, just look up Carson Nagy. I should be the first one up on the top of the list. And on Twitter, it's the same handle, Carson Nagy 93.
Are you active on social media?
Yeah, mostly Instagram and Facebook. I got to start getting more active on Twitter especially, but mainly Facebook and Instagram.
What, no TikTok?
Hey. No Snapchat?
No, not so much Snapchat or TikTok. I think we need to get Mark and Alex on TikTok, though. I think that would be really entertaining.
Yeah, it would, no doubt about it. Hey, speaking about entertaining, I was at Sunset this weekend, and I see you raced your buddy Colton Everingham's number 67 mini stock. How'd that work out for you?
It was definitely fun while it lasted.
well.
Fortunately, on lap 10, we broke a left front axle, but can't thank Colin enough for trusting me to drive one of his cars. Just being behind the wheel of a race car just makes me so happy, and I enjoyed it so much. I can't thank him enough.
Yeah, he's a good dude for sure.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, I appreciate you joining us for a few minutes here today. Can't wait to have you on again. Keep practicing your putting out in the backyard, and maybe we'll get you out for a round of disc golf soon. And also your mom and dad. Let's get them out there as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, Carson.
All right, buddy. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
We're wide open sideways. Talk is cheap. We got the foot to the floor. We're gonna drive her in deep.